Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. See, there is a saying in English, na? You are just a pain in my neck. That is a saying, na? Pain in my neck. Like that, you are just a thorn in my throat. That is how Adi Shankara, he describes the ego. The ego. It is just the thorn in the throat. You are hungry, but you cannot eat, you cannot drink, you cannot enjoy anything. So that has to be taken out. So only through proper knowledge, the ego can be destroyed. Then after that, after the thorn is removed, you can eat and drink yataishtam, as much as you want. So therefore, by all means, this ego has to be given up. It has to be destroyed. Now, we are now in the 308th verse, 308. Tato hamader vinivartya vrittim santyaktaragha paramartalabhat tushnim samasvatma sukhanubhutya Purnatmana Brahmani nirvikalpaha. Tato hamadher vinivartya vritti vinivritya vrittim santyaktaragha paramartalabhat Tushnim samasvatma sukhanubhutya Purnatmana Brahmani nirvikalpaha. Tataha, thereafter, ahamadehe vrittim vinivartya, since because it is the thorn throat, ahamadehe vrittim, the ego and the egocentric thoughts, all the other modifications of the ego, vinivartya, has to be given up. Having given up, paramartalabhat santyakta ragaha, and in order to gain the highest, paramartalabhat santyakta ragaha, he has given up all the desires of the mundane, ordinary world. Having given up everything, Atma sukhanubhutya Brahmani purnatmana nirvikalpaha tushnim samasva. The student, he enjoys the bliss. Brahmani paramatmana, as he is abiding in the Brahman, which is his own self, nirvikalpaha, which is changeless, he is enjoying the bliss forever. And what? Tushnim samasva. He attained to that tushni bhava. Tushni means total silence. Tushni bhava. Tushnim samasva. He attained to the total silence means where there are no desire, therefore no thoughts, and therefore no desire prompted activity, so no vasanas. So unobstructed bliss he is enjoying, and his mind is always serene and quiet, undisturbed, and it has reached the perfect silence. Manam oinda nilai, Tamil solrona. Oinda nilai na, the mind has just died. Manam oinda nilai. It is no more rising. So tushnim babuva. So these great masters, their mind as if it is not. That pure consciousness alone is. Therefore, they are always the same. They are able to see the same self everywhere. Therefore, samadarshinaha, they become samadarshinaha. In their vision, they are equanimous, equal vision they have got. So that is how one reaches after giving up this ego and the modification of the ego. So throughout this chapter, these verses, he is only hammering on only one thing: give up the ego. Now moving on, the last verse in this chapter. Samoola krittopi mahanaham punaha ullekitasyadyadi chetasakshanam sanjivya vikshepa shatam karoti nabasvatha pravrushivarido yata samoola krittopi mahanaham punaha ullekitasyadyadi chetasakshanam sanjivya vikshepa shatam karoti nabhasvata pravrushivarido yata. See how much they have observed life, see? Here he says, samoola krittopi. After destroying this ahankara, samoola, the root and branch also, mahanaham, this aham, this ahamta, this ego self which is very powerful, punaha sanjivya, it can rise again when chetasa kshanam ullekitaha syadyati. Through your mind, even for a kshanam, for a moment, if you again think about the objects or identify with the body mind, once again this ego, sanjivya, it can come again as if it has come alive. See, we would have thought, yes, we have destroyed the ahankara, root and branch, now everything is over. But chetasa kshanam, through your mind, even for a moment, vyullekitasyad, if you think about the anatma, see, if you identify with the not self, then this aham can sanjivya, it can come into life, and vikshepa shatam karoti, and can disturb you endlessly. Vikshepa shatam. Hundreds and hundreds of vikshepa, means distractions it can bring in, like how? Like nabhasvata pravrushi varidho yata. Like the wind, they can bring in suddenly clouds from nowhere. You know, you would be thinking everything is clear, the sky is clear, today it's a sunny day, you can go out. Suddenly from nowhere, these winds, the rainy winds, can bring in all the clouds and suddenly it can rain. So unexpected, that's what we say now. Similarly, you would have thought everything is done and dusted, but still if you are ajagradai, careless for a moment, and if you, in your rajasic or tamasic mood, if you identify once again with the anatma, once again the ahankara can crop up and bring in hundreds of vikshepa, distractions or miseries. So therefore, savdhan, that is the only instruction. Be alert and vigilant. Do not give room to the slackness of the mind. Be there, because any time it can identify. So that is why Bhagavan Ramana says, even if you recognize the self and try to abide there, as long as the last vasana is there, this will come again and again. So once you reach a sahaja state, complete destruction of the mind, then it may not come. That is a state. Till then, one has to be vigilant. One has to be very aware. Chetasa kshanam, even for a moment when you are careless and identify, that's it. It can come again and trouble you. See? Therefore, till the end, we cannot take things for granted. You know this story, na? I have also explained this story before also. Once Sishya of Vedavyasa, he approached him, very advanced seeker. He said, Guruji, now I think I have conquired senses, conquired all my mind and senses, everything. I think he said, wonderful that is. So now you can go independent and live your own life. You can do your sadhana and live your own life, he said. He said, okay. And then he went away into the forest. He made a small hut and he was living there and continuing with this meditation and everything. One day what happened, suddenly in the night it started raining, pouring heavily. So when this Mahatma was sleeping, suddenly he heard a knock at his door. Tuck, 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 very vigorously a knock. So what happened? So he went and opened. He saw a lady fully drenched in the rains and she was shivering and she was pleading, I lost my way somehow and in this night I can't go anywhere. Please, please accommodate me. Give me some corner. I want to just rest tonight and I will go. Because in the night I am very, very scared. There may be wild beasts and also there may be some other elements. So please. He was moved, of course, So he said, okay, you go and sleep in that corner, but please don't disturb me. I am sort of yoga nidra or whatever. So he went and slept. After some time he could not sleep. He was tossing around in his bed. That Satana has entered into his mind. That worm has entered into his mind. Something happened to him. And before he realized, he was out of his bed and he was there trying to hug that lady. Then suddenly she screamed, and then when he woke up, he saw Vedavyasa there. Vedavyasa had come in the form of the lady to test the student, and he smiled. Then this student got very ashamed. So even though you are an advanced seeker, you cannot take that mind for granted, because it is there, inbuilt, the vasanas, So that is why our elders, they say, be careful. If you are moving with the opposite sex, don't take the mind for granted. Be careful. However, mature you may be, but these senses are very powerful. And the mind has got this kind of thing in it. So it is not done. In a weaker moment, or when you think everything is done, still sometimes it can crop up and take you for a good ride. So we have to be very careful. The mind can come again. The serpent can raise its hood and again try to bite you. So be careful always. So that is the message given here. We cannot take things for granted. This ahankara is pollada. That's why it's called as mahan aham punaha. Mahan means what? Really difficult. It can again. They are inbuilt in the nature, I suppose. This kind of Maya, it's Ishvara's power, no? So Vishnu Maya it is. Vishnu Maya iti. So therefore it is very powerful. And the mind and the buddhi are very limited. They can be easily carried away. Unless you are awake and you are discriminating thoroughly and really you have got that vairagya. Because you are now attached to the highest. So till that point, be careful. Now moving on to the next chapter. Actions, thoughts and vasanas. See, this is a vicious circle. Actions, thoughts and vasanas, renounce. 310. Nigruhya shastro shatrohamahamo vakashaha. Ahamo vakashaha kvachinna deyo vishayanuchintya. Sayeva sanjivana heturasya. Prakshina jambi rataro vibambu. Nigruhya shatro rahamo vakashaha. Kvachinna deyo vishayanuchintya. Sayeva sanjivana heturasya. Prakshina Jambi Rataro Rivambhu Nigruhya Shatroho Ahamaha. This Ahamaha, this Aham Vritti, that the I sense, that is the real Shatru. Nigruhya. You must be feeling that you have conquered it. Nigruhya. After conquering also, Avakashaha Kvachinna na deyaha. Don't give any room for this Ahankara. See, Avakashaha Kvachit na deyaha. Don't give room to this Ahankara. How? Vishayanuchintya. By again thinking about the sense objects. Please understand, the imagination only is a Shatru about the sense object. You imagine sort of joy in it. Imagine joy in it. That is called a Sankalpa. That is a Shatru. You need not indulge actually the physical world. Even in the mind, if the thought comes that it is wonderful, and if you again and again start thinking about it. Vishaya anuchintya. Vishaya anuchintya, again and again think. So what happens? When you start thinking, then that is it. Dhyayato vishayan pumsan sangasteshu upajayate. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kamat krodho bijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammoha smriti vibhramaha. Smriti bramshat buddhinashaha. Buddhinashat pranashyati. See? Everything starts from where? Vishaya anuchintya. You start thinking about an object. How you start thinking about an object? You don't think about any other object in the world. See, you walk in the street, you meet so many people, you see so many people. But there is a sort of this thing. Hey, girl is so beautiful, na? Like that. Or, oh, this girl is so quiet, very kind, very good. Like that the mind starts imagining. It superimposes the qualities which may not be there. And it superimposes because of its maya. And it says, and then it starts thinking and associating again and again. Nowadays the mobile is there, sending messages again and again. Hi, how are you? Good night messages, good morning messages. I hate good morning messages, Chomma, good morning, good night. So you go on associating, and then it strengthens the attachment. Then what happens? Jayato vishayan pumsan sangasteshu vajayate. The attachment increases. See, when you love an object, when you again associate, you are not satisfied. You want to possess the object and enjoy. This is human mind. Possess and enjoy. So this is what is the real samsara. Once you enjoy it also, you are not satisfied. Again and again. And you are now scared. Somebody else may take it away. All the samsara starts. See, enjoyment is not only physical, I tell you again and again. Again and again wanting to be in the company, wanting to talk, wanting to interact, blah, 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 blah. So this is some sort of, a sort of a thing. The flirting, tendency is in human being, flirting. Chumma, kadala poradum Tamil. There is no matter at all, but they want to go on talking. Sweet nothings. Chumma going on talking. So this is how the samsara, this is how the maya builds up the attachment within. If you give a small room also, it is enough. Once again the ahankara will come out, it will assert itself, and it thinks these people are mine, so my own. And then starts the game. So therefore, one has to be very, very, very alert. Avakashaha kvachin na deyaha vishayanuchintaya. By thinking about the object, don't give any room to this mind. Sayeva sanjivana hetuhu. That alone is a cause for the, once again, enlivening this ahankara. Like what? Like, behind the Annakshetra, You find a lemon tree, as if it is, dead, you water it. So once again it talittu nalla andrum. See, that is what he's saying. Prakshina means as if it is gone. Prakshina. Jambirataroho means the lemon tree or citric tree. Gurudev has said citric tree, citron tree. Iva ambuhu. Ambu means water. When the plant is almost, it is going to die down, if you pour water, again it will come up. Similarly, the ego also, as if it is gone, but if you water it with Vishaya Anuchintaya. So, Yudhishthira in Mahabharata, he says, "O desire, I know your root cause, from where you rise. You rise from Sankalpa, imagination. What is the Sankalpa? There is joy in the world outside. There is joy. The mind says, there is joy in certain objects. And mind says, there is a chemistry between these two people. Chemistry, physics, chemistry, biology. And then what it does, it again interacts. Anuchintaya. When it interacts, then starts the samsara. See, that is why those days our masters and our elders also believed not too much interaction between the opposite sexes, See, now things, people are different. Say, oh, it's all free country, everybody is free, it has to be like this, like that. But what happens? Again and again, if you interact very closely, the opposite, especially the opposite sexes, something happens within, and some sort of, pollution happens. And nowadays, these youngsters watch a lot of pornography, this, that, everything. I don't know how their mind would be pure or whatever, I don't know. If you closely move also, then it will lead to all sorts of things. There is no end to it. And then goes on. And people nowadays don't care also. In those days, they were caring for, this kind of thing, chastity and all. Now, how does it matter? It's okay. Broken means broken. Find the other one. They move on. They call this moving on. Don't get stuck. Move on in life. Meaning, every year, like changing your cell phone, iPhone, you change your boyfriend or girlfriend. It doesn't matter. Why it doesn't matter? They are jnanis, Actually, it doesn't matter. Those days, they were ajnanis. Nowadays, no attachment, no commitment. So, like these, dogs, like these animals, if you feel instinctive, go and indulge, and then go away. No responsibility, no commitment, nothing. Be happy. Then what is the difference between the animal and the human? See? So, anuchintaya, if you think about the sense object again and again, if you are alone in your room, where if somebody comes into your mind again and again, beware. Unnecessarily, why a person should come into your mind? Nobody should come into your mind when you sit alone. Why should anybody come into your mind? Our Swami says, even if Shiva comes, you offer him a asana and you continue with your meditation. Why anybody should come into your mind? So you should not allow anybody to enter into your mind. Because when somebody enters into your mind, they occupy your mind space. And then they control your life. And then you are gone. You lose your independence, freedom. And you lose your originality. So don't allow anybody to enter into your secret chambers of the heart. That is only place for Paramatma. Paramatma is your own self. You do not give space. You are that already. So, Vishaya Anuchintaya, by thinking about the objects, you get into the trap. Beware. So, even Avakashaha Kvachinna Deyaha, don't give any room to this mind to be alive again. So, don't pour water. Already it is there, the seeds. So, don't pour water. See, that is why when Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji, he started this Sandipani course, Vedanta course, he accepted both brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. People are very surprised. How can you allow brahmacharinis also? Because if in the course, if you allow the boys and the girls, it will be a problem. But Gurudev said, anyway they have to go in the field and live. If they cannot survive here, they cannot survive anywhere. At least if they are somewhere, hanky-panky here, we know it. So we won't give them brahmacharya or sannyasa. Let them go like that. Anyway, you have to live in the world, na? Then who will come behind you? So if the vasanas are strong, very difficult. See, that's why it's not everybody's cup of tea. If the vasanas are very strong, it's very difficult. Mind will be carried away. It is not easy. There is a very strong attraction between the sexes. And nowadays they say even between the same sex. I don't know about those things. Maybe some sort of, I don't know. Perversion. Not perversion, some exception or some sort of aberration. But they glorify it as the normal way of life. Maybe those days also those aberrations would have been, but all camouflaged and sort of brushed aside. But now it is glorified. But there is this Maya is there, so the seeker has to be very careful. Not to again and again think of anything.
Is it still a co-ed?
COVID.
Co-ed.
Yes.
Sandipani.
Yes. You want to join? Small that. I am also mischievous, like you. Deha Atmana Samstitayeva Kami. Samstitayeva Kami. Vilakshana Mahita Katam Syat. Mahita Katam Syat. Atorta Sandhana Paratvameva. Bheda Prasaktya Bhavabandha Hetuhu. Dehatmana Samstitayeva Kami. Vilakshana Kamayita Katam Syat. Atorta Sandhana Paratvameva. Bheda Prasaktya Bhavabandha Hetuhu. Dehatmana Samsitaha Eva Kami. One who is living or one who is rooted in the Deha, Aham Dehaha, that Bhava, he alone can have this kind of ideas, Kami. Kami means what? This kind of desire for the opposite sex or for the sense objects. Because the Dehatma Bhavam only will give rise to that. Vilakshanaha Kamayida Katam Syat. If you are not the body, if you are the self which is beyond the sexes, then how can there be kama, the thoughts? How can it be? Ataha, therefore, artha sandhana paratvameva bheda prasaktya bhavabandha hetuhu. Therefore, continuously thinking about the objects. See, artha sandhana, anusandhanam kelipattingilla. Adema artha sandhana. See, swaswarupa anusandhanam bhaktin we have read, na? Again and again, always attending to the self. Here, artha anusandhana. Again and again thinking about the objects. That alone, Veda Prasaktya, Veda Prasaktya means it will attach your mind to this Veda Bhavana, that I am different, the other person is different. Man, woman, all this Veda Prasaktya, Bhavabandha Hetoho, and that will lead to the Bhavabandhanam, the bondage of this transmigration. So therefore, Artha Anusandhanam, again and again thinking of objects. Artha Sandhanam. That alone is the cause for the bhavabandha. Bheda prasaktya, it strengthens the bheda bhavana. I am different, the others are different. See, sometimes our Acharya used to say, that time we didn't understand. You cannot fall in love with your hand. You know, this right hand I love so much. Left hand though okay, right hand I love so much. Have you seen anybody falling in love in their own hands, legs? No, because I am there everywhere. So there is equal sort of love or affection or attention everywhere. Only towards the others there is a special love or attachment. To oneself there is no special attachment as such. But to others, when the bheda, others, the idea of others comes only, either there is like or dislike, attachment or aversion. To oneself there is no attachment or aversion. So if you consider everything to be yourself, there is no attachment, no aversion. Only when you consider somebody else as something different. See, always the mind sees guna dosha. In Uddhava Gita we studied. Guna means what? We appreciate the goodness. Guna. Ah, very good. Very quiet, very beautiful, very nice. All those things. Guna. Dosha means, nonsense. It's not good. So when we start seeing guna dosha as if it is very real, then we differentiate people. And then what happens slowly, when you again and again ruminate over the guna of a person, you get attached. Again and again, if you only highlight the dosha of a person, you start hating that person, not liking that person. So the idea of seeing the guna dosha in the objects, that strengthens these likes and dislikes. That comes because you see as an object, bheda prasaktya. So to your own body limbs, you don't have this kind of, guna dosha. You don't love anything extra or hate. See, some people, it's a very different thing, Some, the ladies, girls, they have some long hair and all. They are very proud about it. And, they display it everywhere. And they are as if in love with that. When it grows grey, they are heartbroken. Or when it starts losing their hair, dung. So, if you are attached to all these cheap things, then it all changes. It goes.
Srimad Bhagavad it is written, in Kali Yuga, beauty will be hairstyle.
Hairstyle, yeah. And no, the thing is, it is all there. But what happens? You will see, I told you, you cannot be attached to your own limbs or the body, but these kind of things are also seen, I am just telling you. But the idea is only when you see somebody else as others, then this kind of likes and dislikes generally happen, not towards oneself. So this bheda prasaktya, it creates the bheda. I am different and the other person is different. So what happens? Then the experiencer experienced. How can you then abide in that where there is no experiencer experienced? When you think about the object, when the bhedam is created and is strengthened, then how can you abide in the abheda sthiti? It is not possible. So that is why this has to be given up. It is all the play of the maya, play of the mind. எவ்வளவுதான் Swamiji give up, எவ்வளவுதான் விடுறது? The only one thing needs to be given up. That is aham vritti, oneself. Aham vritti means I thought has to be given up. Along with that, everything else is given up. When that is nourished, nurtured, then everything comes up. நான் ஒன்று எழுந்தபின் எல்லாம் எழுங்கிறார் பகவான். நான் ஒன்று எழுந்தபின், when I arises, எல்லாம் எழும், everything arises. That is the thing. So therefore, dehatmana samsitaha eva kami. Only when you have identified with the body, you can have desire for the sense objects, otherwise not. Vilakshanaha means if he is not identifying with the body, how can he have desire? When you don't identify with the body, you are the self. Self is Purna, and there is nothing other than the self. Then who can have kamana, the desires? Therefore, artha sandhana parattvameva veda prasaktya bhavabandha hetu. Therefore, thinking about the objects. Therefore, aimbulan arutteri means what? You should not think about the objects again and again. Through the senses, through the mind, you should not again and again chumma think about anything. See what happens, it's very difficult. For the mother, especially very difficult. When the child is formed in the womb, from then onwards she is giving attention to the child. Again and again she thinks about the child, the welfare of the child. When it is born also, my God, how much she toils with the child. She gives milk and whatever happens to the child, she takes care. Oh Rama, every inch she watches the child growing. So that attachment is something very strong. So that is why the mothers are very sad, when the children don't respect them or don't consider them as important. They feel very bad because they have given everything. They have invested their whole life into that child. But that is not right actually. What is not right? Yes, you have to do all those things with love and affection only. But always remember, it is all Maya, you are getting caught. So, asangoham punah. Very difficult, very hard. See, that is why, the women are made that way to rear children, to bring them up. So, naturally their mind is like that. That is why when Paurusham is said, people react and revolt. Na? Why Paurusham only said? Because it is that way. And, something happens to the child, that is why. Very sad actually. Very difficult. See, we can talk anything, especially we sannyasis. We don't that way, attend to people. But grihasthas have to, every day. So that bandha is so strong. Very difficult. That is why we have to surrender more and more to the Lord. It's not easy. See, after growing to 60, 70 also, then you get attached to your grandchildren. More attachment. Why? Oh, my own son's son, daughter's daughter, blah, 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 blah. And what happens? It strengthens this, attachment and this Veda and this samsara. So, the vidavum mudiyadu, pidikavum mudiyadu. You cannot give it up also, you cannot take it also. As a seeker, you feel it is not that great. As a person, grandmother or mother, you cannot give it up also. So it's very difficult. But if the person is attached to the Lord totally, then the Lord gives that strength to detach, to stand apart. Otherwise, not possible. Veda prasaktya bhavabandha hetu.
It's more difficult for the young person because the hormones and everything is very much working.
Yes.
So you again and again go back to akhanda kar vritti.
Akhanda kar vritti only, but as you said rightly, for young person it's not easy actually. See, especially, just digressing from your point, especially when a person gets married, and when the mother also is very important, the wife also is important. Because she has brought him up to this stage. But the wife newly married, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I must say, that's why I told you, digressing from what you said. So this is continuity of the thought, continuity of my thought. So for him, it is very, very difficult. He cannot give in both the sides. So he really suffers. That is one point. As he says, when he is very young also, see, his senses are very turbulent. As you say, the physical, chemical reactions, everything is there, and therefore it's not easy for a young person. So we should not blame or complain too much, but we should warn or we should guide, but we should not label somebody as, useless, because he may later he may turn back. But at that age, adolescence, very difficult, very hard. But nowadays, with the exposure to everything, very, very hard. See, the teachers are, feeling the pinch of it, the teachers, because they only are there face to face with the students. The parents also only very less, because they all go away to work and all. The teachers have to be with them and face them. Very difficult, actually. And they are very proud also at that age, because of the youthfulness. They think they can do anything and get away.
They feel
Immortal. And they can do anything and get away. That's what they feel. Very difficult. Immoral also. Immortal also, immoral also, he says. No, it's a nice pun.
Not necessary.
A nice pun, I mean.
I'm trying to get to like how you did it first.
Myself.
Yes.
I am a different person.
Theoretically, it's okay. So, first person. You were talking theory about married man.
See, you know what? First person. No, wait. I tell you what. See, I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately, my mother was a teacher working in the same school where I studied. So always there is somebody watching, like. So I will tell your mother then, I will report to your mother. This way everybody will sort of threaten me. So they never allowed me to be something different at all.
To imagine.
No. See, they don't allow me into any circles to do any mischief, because he may go and report. That's what I am like a mole. So nobody, took me in their circle. I was that way saved, I don't know what. And you know what, another thing I tell you. See, the vasanas were not there much. That is why I have taken up to this path, I suppose so.
Sure.
The vasanas were not there much. And we were brought up in a very traditional Brahminical sort of family, saying that this is right, this is wrong, you should not do this, do that. And our grandparents, fathers, everybody, So naturally it was like that. And after that, very, very important, at the very young age I came in contact with our Swamiji. He was like a magnet. In front of him, mind will not go anywhere. Mind will not go anywhere. You do not think about anything. See, always the whole week you only think about going weekend to the Swami.
Oh, which class were you in when you met him?
College. I was in the college. So, always thinking about the weekend. Why? You can go and meet the Swami and be with him. Wow. He will teach or whatever. He will not teach also, just to be with him. When you are with him, you recharge for the whole week.
Joy.
And you think only about that and nothing else. Studies are all secondary. Everything is secondary. And that was the powerful, this thing. Grace. So it will not allow the mind to go anywhere. So we were watching some films and all. Swami said, you watch, no problem. But he was so confident that I cannot go wrong. No, I don't want to compare Vivekananda, sorry about that. But he was asking some personal things. So maybe some people are born with less vasanas, some people with strong vasanas, and also the environment, all those things. All those things.
Hats off to Bali. You tried your best to get him to give a speech. He got you to do it.
About myself. So that was like that. But you know what? Another thing I warn you. The vasanas may be unmanifest. And it can manifest any time. So even when you are young, maybe some vasanas may be unmanifest at that particular point of time. When you grow older, some other vasanas can even manifest. Nobody knows when what will manifest. So therefore, all the time, to be awake and to be alert is the instruction. So since because the younger age I was okay, you will not be okay in the older age. Because some secret vasanas may be lurking in your heart, ready to manifest, but not given any opportunity to manifest. So when given an opportunity, it may manifest also. Nobody knows. Vishwamitra, like that. Nobody knows. So therefore, it's not an easy joke. One have to be very alert and watchful. Having said that, see, we have digressed so much. Okay. Karya pravardha. Karya pravardhana bija pravriddhi. See this meter, once again a problem. Karya pravardhanat. Karya pravardhanat. Bija pravruddhi. Paridrishyate. Karyanashat. Bijanashaha. Tasmat karyam nirodhayet. I need not explain. It is very clear. Karya pravardhanat bija pravritti. Where is the karyam? What is the bijam here? Karya means the effect. Bijam means the seed. So what is the effect? Again and again, thoughts arising about the sense object is a karyam. And what is the bijam? The vasanas. The vasanas are the bijam, the seed. Bijam means seed. So, karya pravardhanat. Again and again, when you think about the objects, what happens? Bija pravrittihi, the vasanas get strengthened. Bija pravrittihi. So, when the vasanas are strong, then it creates the same kind of thoughts again and again. And then, when you indulge or when you work in the world outside, then it creates more and more vasanas. So, this is a vicious circle. How to break it? See? When you think about the objects again and again, and when you go behind the world, it creates more and more vasanas. When there are more and more vasanas, you cannot keep quiet. It creates similar desires, similar thoughts. So you get caught into this vicious circle. That is why we cannot blame anybody. Because they get caught into this vicious circle. And some strong, vasanas are very strong, you cannot get out of it. You have to act. You are helplessly taken away. See? Therefore, karya pravardhanat bija pravrittihi paridrishyate. It is seen in the world this way. Therefore, karyanashat bijanashaha. Don't entertain thoughts. Then, that way, the vasanas, the bija, the vasanas will slowly reduce and it can be washed away. Tasmat karyam nirodhayet. Karya means here what? Thinking about the objects. That is the effect, karyam. Karyam nirodhayet. Nip it in the bud. When the thoughts come into the mind, don't entertain. It is not that you have to fight with the thought. If you fight also, the vasanas will increase. Like our Swamiji said once, for this monkey, korangu, if it gets a wound, it will go on, it will know, then the wound will become very big, it will die. Similarly, if you get a vulgar thought, if you start fighting with the thought, it will become huge, big. If you indulge in it also, it will create a lot of vasana in you. Then how to do? Not to react, let it come, let it go. Allow it to pass. See, by having a negative or vulgar thought, you may not become vulgar because you are the self, ever pure. But whatever you have put before, garbage in, garbage out, it will come. Everything will come. When you sit for meditation only, it will come with vigor. So many things may come. From within, so many things, like a lava. From within, so many things may come. You should not get scared. Because all those things were there deep within. That is why it is coming out. Allow it to come out. Let it pass. Let it go. So if you suppress it again, then it is again there. When you say, hey, all these thoughts, how can I have, oh, I am a good boy, I am a very wonderful person. How can I have these thoughts? If you suppress it, it will come with vigor. But if you indulge in it, once again vasanas are created. Then what to do? That is why it is very difficult. Not to do anything is very difficult. To not lose our cool and to say that I have nothing to do with this. I am something different. Because of this thought, I may not become very bad or vulgar. So I have nothing to do with these thoughts. In the nature, like there is a forest fire, like there is a storm, like there is a flood, there are these thoughts in me. How does it matter? Let it come. Let it go.
They're not your thoughts, they're coming from the cloud. cloud storage.
You have done something before and you have put these vasanas inside. So you cannot just say somewhere from, see, you take responsibility for that. In the sense what, whatever you have done only is vasanas, no? Let it be like that. But now, don't identify with that. Meaning, I am the self. I have nothing to do with the mind or the thoughts. Let it come or go. See, what you are saying also in that perspective, it is right. See, nothing is ours. Everything is in the nature. The mind, buddhi also is in the nature. Vasanas also in the nature. Prakriti only it is. So everything is in the nature, let it be. But I am something different. This is what we have to take the standpoint. I am the Purusha. Purusha means not the Prakriti. I am the enlivener, or only the illuminator. I am only Sakshi. So like that you allow everything to pass. I tell you, if it passes, it cannot trouble you again. But if it is suppressed, it can come back. It can come back with vigor. It can really affect you. Allow it to pass. See, don't become touch me not. I am good. I am, very noble. How can this come to me? No. Nobody is good or bad or noble or whatever. These vasanas are there, Shubha or Ashubha. Sometimes Ashubha vasanas come, Shubha vasanas come. All those things come. And I have nothing to do with that. That should be the stand. And then allow them to go, pass. If you don't react with them, they will pass. Only you meddle with them and they become stronger. Either by indulging or by resisting, you meddle with them. Then they become stronger. You don't meddle, you just watch and observe, they will go away.
Being indifferent.
Indifferent, that's what. Udhasina vadasina. Indifferent, you be indifferent, they just pass. That is how we have to allow all the vasanas to exhaust. Otherwise, if you entertain such thoughts consciously, then what happens? It creates the bija, the seed, vasanas. The vasanas will create such thoughts.
Become tree, the seed will become.
Yeah, it will grow. And then this circle, vicious circle, you get caught. And then there is no way out. So to break it, where you have to break it? In the thought form, become a sakshi and take a stand that I have nothing to do with these thoughts. They are in me, I am not in them. They are in me, I am not in them. So with this idea, allow to pass. So we will stop here. 312. Karya pravardhanat bija pravritti paridrishyate. Karyanashat bijanasha. Tasmat karyam nirodhayet. Therefore, you stop it in that level. Don't entertain thoughts. That is the idea now. No? The thought development is that. No? You think about the objects, then you get caught. That's the thought development. So karyam is thinking about the object only. Not karyam is physical activity. That is not the karyam here. Here the karyam is effect. What is the effect? Thinking about something is the effect. What will happen? What is the bijam? Vasanas. So this chakra. So be careful about the chakra. Om Purnamadha Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudhachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See, whatever said and done,